wonderful evening. Had a great day. Tomorrow's Friday, y'all. Hey, there you are. How are you?
Here's the puzzle of this that I just don't understand. When you plugged on, when I first was listening to you, these were working perfectly. I could hear you just fine. The minute we went live, it went dead.
I can't hear mine either.
I think that I don't think we're using Instagram approved equipment, and they're penalizing us.
Maybe so. Well, okay. Well, all right. I hope everybody can hear me okay. But I'm going to just take these out then so they don't bug me because I can't hear.
Well, I hear you loud and clear, and it's good to see you. It feels like it's been a month of Sundays because it's been a couple of weeks since we did this last. And, geez, it's been quite a couple of weeks with one or two important things in our lives go by. But we're going to talk first about World Carnivore Month.
Yes, January.
And what World Carnivore Month is about is if you've been looking in the mirror, you're looking down at your waist, it's maybe kind of hard to see your feet. Maybe you put on some pounds because you got into Grandma's Christmas candy. And you're thinking of, hey, I need to do something about this. Well, World Carnivore Month is all about lowering those carbs and giving carnivore a shot and see how you do.
Yep. And the thing is, one thing, just in case we forget later down the line, to register for the World Carnivore Month, go to meetrx.com and you fill out this little short questionnaire and you're registered. It's super easy. It's free. And it just kind of helps find out where everybody is from. I think right now, if I remember what I just saw on Sean Baker's post, is that we're up to 4,000. So that's pretty exciting. And the thing is, you don't have to just be starting it in January. If you are a carnivore who has been doing it 2 days or 20 years, but you still plan on continuing it in January, go register because you want to be counted. This is kind of an interesting thing. And Sean's trying to figure out, how many people are actually excited and on board and he's doing this. So be sure to go there, meetrx.com.
Very good. Absolutely. And I want to take a moment. If anybody has any questions about carnivore or whatnot, please ask. We will stop what we're doing and try to answer your questions as soon as we see them. Somebody said hi from Canada, I believe. Wow. Hello. And I'm trying to scroll and I'm failing miserably as I try. But yeah, we're really excited to be a part of this. Being a part of MeatRx has really been an amazing experience. We'll talk more about that later. But why would, one of the questions I get asked periodically is why would somebody be remotely interested in trying the carnivore way of eating? And first off, it's a great elimination diet. For starters.
Absolutely.
We got our first question. Can you please tell me what you feel about dairy? I love a creamy coffee and not ready to give it up just yet. You want to take that first, Amber? You want me to jump on
it? You go ahead and then I'll.
All righty. Okay, here's my feelings on dairy. I never recommend dairy for the first 30 days somebody tries carnivore. Preferably not the first 90 days because there's natural sugars, especially in cheese and in eggs, that can be a problem for about half of the people who try this, it seems. It could be a big stumbling block. It could be the reason for a weight loss stall. It can also cause arthritic flares. My wife's weight loss stall didn't end and her flares didn't completely go away until she gave up all dairy completely. Now, I've not had any dairy since the end of July. I haven't missed it in any way, shape, or form. It holds absolutely zero interest for me. Here's the thing you have to ask yourself about your coffee and your creamy goodness. What's more important to you? Being in optimal good health or that cup of coffee? Now, for you, it might be that cup of coffee, and that's fine. No judgments here. That's your personal choice. But that's my feelings on the dairy. Go, Amber, go.
Yeah. Okay. When I first started carnivore, I was doing dairy because to me, carnivore was, any animal product. That's the way I understood it. So, because I was doing it when I was keto, I was 2 years on keto before I transitioned to carnivore. And so I kept eating it. But then I kind of just got to the point where I didn't really care about it, honestly. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to experiment because I'm kind of into this experiment stage now since I'm at maintenance and most of my issues are cleared and all that. So I'm kind of experimenting. So I, for a good probably 7 or 8 months, I did not have any dairy, nor did I have eggs. I added back in eggs every once in a while. And then when I kept seeing these pictures of chopples, I was like, you know what? That's kind of looking kind of good to me. So I went ahead and tried some chopples, which is egg and cheese. And I have that every once in a while now. For me, I didn't really honestly notice a difference, and it was easy for me to cut out after the first month. But I think what Brett is saying has a lot of validity to it, that if you starting out, just do a clean slate. But if that's too hard for you, it might work to, kind of steady eliminate it like what I did. It just kind of depends on what kind of person you are. If it's a make or break for you, then have the cream. Good grief, have it. But just understand it can cause a stall. It may not help you clear up the issues that maybe you're trying to clear up. There's could be consequences, and you won't know that until it's eliminated, and then you try to add it back in later. So, I think Brett has a good idea. But again, if a make or break, just have it.
Sarah Jane Hill commented and said she started carnivore last year during World Carnivore Month.
Wow.
Sarah, I hope are you still carnivore today? I hope you're doing well. And let us know. And LT who asked that question about the coffee says, okay, I'm going to do this. Just cut the coffee and dive right in with meat and water.
Awesome.
Don't be afraid to ease into that. Lower your coffee a little here, a little there until you're down to none. Don't try to, there's nothing to be gained by making this harder on yourself.
Absolutely.
So
Agreed.
We wanted to set you up to be successful.
Yes. And it was not hard for me. I'll be honest with you. I love dairy. I'm not even going to kid you. On keto, that was like, I love this stuff. The cream cheese, the heavy cream, the, whatever. And after I started, increasing my meat and getting rid of all the other, carb related foods for the most part, it was easy. So that may happen to you. So once you start doing it, you may realize you don't really care about it anyway, so it's no big deal.
That's exactly right. And it's always going to be specific to the individual.
Yeah.
You might be one of those people who can actually tolerate dairy. Here's another great question by Miss Carnivore. Did either of you experience oxalate dumping? And if so, how did you deal with it? I don't know that I experienced oxalate dumping because I had been very low carb and had eliminated all the high oxalate garbage for the most part over that 3.5-year period. Now, I experienced a lot of crazy things, rashes, things that I was completely ignorant of, and it wasn't like I was taking notes during this time. I was just kind of getting through the day and trying to walk a few miles, and hopefully I was weighing myself every day. We all know what a nightmare that is. Yes. But I can't say for certain that I've experienced that. I'm sure I probably did and was unaware. What about you, Amber?
I agree with you. I'm not aware of it, but I have some concerns about that because I ate a lot of high oxalate foods when I was keto. The almond flour. Oh yeah, I did all that. You betcha I did. Ate a lot of that stuff. And I love spinach. I mean, stuff like that. And I've eaten that my whole life because at one point I was dang near vegetarian. I know, but I really was. I love vegetables, especially the high oxalate ones. So going, carnivore and dumping all that stuff, I still have concerns because I've heard people having issues after a year of being on carnivore, that all of a sudden they have issues. So I've been kind of like, oh God, is it going to happen to me tomorrow? Is that going to be the day? But so far I'm not aware that I've had any issues with that. So
Here's something I would recommend. If you're curious, interested on how all that happens, and you're concerned about it, there on HBO podcast with Dr. Baker and Zach Bitter, there's a great episode with Sally Norton. She's like in America, she's like the premier expert on oxalate.
Yes.
And she talks about it also, I believe, on the Peak Human podcast as well. Watch that on Human Performance Outliers. Just a lot of really good information there. And there's like, she was so powerful, they had her on for 2 episodes. So there's like 4 hours worth of information. I haven't committed it all to memory. Becky Niles, one of our coaches. Sarah Jane's one of our coaches too at Meet RX. But Becky Niles says her goal is to start giving up dairy. That's good. Sarah says she took potassium, magnesium citrate to help flush the oxalates. Had to eat crystals for dizziness and because of skin sores, ear crystals.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh.
See, I've heard about people having a really hard time with oxalate dumping, and it's not surprising because it's so incredibly toxic for human bodies that our bodies can't even expel it all without killing us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, and I ate potatoes and tomatoes, just
I did too.
All my life up until low carb. So I'm sure
I'm like crossing my fingers, please. I don't want to have that issue. So far, I think I'm okay. I don't know.
You know, and one of the cool things, you know, back to the World Carnivore Month thing is, why do this? Why go zero carb? Because you can learn about these things and how your body's going to respond when you only put human absorbable nutrition in it.
That's
absolutely right. And you eliminate consuming the toxins that are found in plants, the oxalates, the lectins, the phytates, and all that nonsense that accumulates in our organs and in our joints. Yuck. This carnivore way of eating gives you a chance to experience what life is like without the toxins.
And not to mention fiber. I mean, good grief. For me personally, I had no idea what good digestion felt like till I got rid of that. I didn't have a clue because I've had it my whole entire life, but I've had issues my whole entire life. And so if you think that that is not an irritant to your digestive tract, oh, let me just tell you, it is. It really is. Now, some people can tolerate it better than others, yes, but that still doesn't mean it's not irritating to your system, you know. So that's another one of those things you need to watch out for.
Let's see. Somebody had a couple comments. I want to make sure I get it right. Okay, yeah. Sarah's again saying she overdid the almond flour and green smoothies in her keto days. Yeah. And hello, Peter Madison. And that's just something that we see a lot. You know, a lot of folks they get into keto diet. And, I'm gonna have all these smoothies and I'll have all these piles of vegetables, and they don't know what they don't know, that's really loaded with a lot of natural toxins. That
I cringe over all the almond flour.
Popeye the Sailor Man did not tell us with his spinach we got oxalate and worse along with it. Yeah. Now, I never did the almond flour. Now, when my wife decided to go low carb, she bought a bunch of that stuff and found it was more trouble than it was worth, and it was really just replacing the fact that she'd been eating garbage all this time, and you can't replicate the flavors that came with that garbage because you don't have the toxic goo that's in it. And she realized how futile that was and just gave it up.
Yeah, I loved it. I'll admit it was all good to me, and my family loved it. Even the non-keto people, they were like, yeah, okay, we can eat like this. That's cool. They weren't so fond of the whole cauliflower substitution thing necessarily. Like my husband was okay with it because he liked cauliflower, but my kids were like, yeah, I don't know about this. It's not mashed potatoes. But yeah, oh my goodness. When I think of all of that I ate on keto, and the crazy thing is I was still doing way better than I was on SAD or, Weight Watchers or whatever the heck else, diet that I was on. So there is that, I guess, but good God, almond flour.
You stopped consuming the same level of toxins, plus you greatly limited sweets and sugar and all that. And, it's like Vinny Tortorich says with his no sugar, no grains. You just eliminate those two things right there. You're you're on your way to victory, just right there. And for most people, that's good enough. That does the job. That takes away the inflammation. It takes away the weight. You fall into hormesis. You feel good. You're hormonally balanced. But for folks like Amber and I, it's not really enough to get the job done.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons to go carnivore is when you've tried keto and it doesn't quite do everything that you need it to have done. You need more healing. And so, why not give it a go? It made a difference for me in my rosacea and my stomach issues, which I honestly didn't even realize were stomach issues at the time, and got off my last bit of medication. And, some of us we have to do that. You may be lucky not have to, but.
Low carb did not eliminate my depression or anxiety or insomnia symptoms, not one bit. It put me in a little better mood. It made me a little more civil, and I lost a lot of weight. But in the end, it took going to meat and water to kick the illnesses, the symptoms, all to the curb. Let's see, Merrill Milk's saying the more he looks at they look at breads and sweets, the more it looks like bad crap. I see so much extra fluff. Yeah, I agree. I look at it and I just see big piles of death. And then LT's asking, how much should I eat? I can eat around 1 pound of ground beef and 10 slices of bacon in one setting. That's good. They say eat to hunger, but is that too much? This is one of the reasons why World Carnivore Month is such a great thing, because it teaches the basics.
Yes.
And here's how I was taught. And I've said, Amber's heard me say this a million times already. I was taught this by the folks at Zeroing In on Health, a lot of 10, 12-year vets of this way of eating. Only eat when you're hungry, LT. When you're hungry, eat meat until you're not another bite full. Only eat the meat you crave and can afford. Do not put a sweet taste into your mouth. So if you're eating until you're not another bite full, you're rocking on. Now, you may not lose weight in the beginning because your body's not trusting you yet.
That's me. Yeah. But I was at maintenance, but yeah.
And so, you've got to be patient. You've got to understand. We all heal at different speeds. We all got into this for different reasons. We were all sick for different periods of time to varying degrees. What Amber had to deal with was nothing like I had to deal with, which was nothing like my wife had to deal with. It's always very specific to the individual. Absolutely. And you got to be patient. Right, Amber?
Oh, yeah. My favorite word, patience. Gotta love that one. Yeah. But it's true.
The P word. The P word.
I'm still healing. 10 months. I did keto for 2 years, and I've been carnivore for 10 months. I'm still healing. I still have work to do. I mean, that's how metabolically messed up my body was. I'm not anywhere near as bad as some people, though. So everybody's different, and the rate at which you're going to heal or what is going to happen is going to be completely different. And as far as the amount of food, I'll just from Sean's book, he kind of gives an average. Does not mean this is what you have to do, but generally speaking, for women, it's 1.5 pounds, and for men, 2 pounds a day. That does not mean that's what you have to eat, but that's just kind of an average. And for me, I eat about a pound plus about 5 pieces of bacon. So but I'm 5'2" and 120 pounds. So,
And your level of satiety is going to be specific to you.
Yes.
And it's going to take some trial and error. And to be honest, you don't have to worry about overeating. because animal nutrition is so satiating. Animal fat is extremely satiating. You get to that, you're not another bite full, you're not going to want to swallow. When I hit another bite full, if I'm chewing on a piece of bacon, it becomes dog food because I cannot physically swallow it. I literally cannot make myself swallow it. It's crazy how that works. And it's consistent.
It is. Especially like when you're at one of those all-you-can-eat meat things, and you're like, oh, really? I can't eat this last bite. Seriously? You can't eat that last bite. It's like, I'm going to have to leave that meat there. No. Oh, my goodness.
And great questions. Please keep them coming. That's one of the reasons why we do this is to answer people's questions. We love this format because it lets us do that. And, you know, people talk about, well, I'm really worried, you know, how am I going to like, what about nutrient deficiency with eating meat? Because isn't there stuff in plants that we can't get in meat? And actually, to tell the truth, there's only one superfood on planet Earth, and it's meat.
That's right.
Because there's no more nutrient-dense food
that's bioavailable.
It's exactly right. It's bioavailable like at 98%, 99% bioavailable versus 2 to 4% for plants.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
That's why you have to eat 50 bowls of salad big as a barrel to get full. And
exactly.
An hour later, you're starving again because there wasn't any nutrition in it.
And then imagine the bloat. Oh God, the pain and the sometimes constipation because of all of that fiber and anti-nutrients and all that stuff that you're getting in there. Yikes! I will just tell you, as much as I love veggies, I am not missing them, and I never thought I would say that, honestly.
I ate them, but it wasn't like I loved them. It was like because I was under the old programming, you know. Okay,
you must have them.
This is good for me. I'll eat it. But so I miss it even less than I would probably a lot of people do. Remember, it says raw liver has made them feel more satiated than any other food. If that's what works for you, man, enjoy it.
Yeah, I've tried liver all different ways. I've tried it raw. I've tried it, fried with onions. I've tried, oh goodness, in a pate with bacon. And my dogs are loving it. I'll just say that. I've tried chicken liver. I've tried calf liver. Oh goodness, I don't like it. I just don't.
She hasn't spit it back out on the plate yet on camera. That was the only disappointing thing about it.
Y'all should watch those videos.
You could tell you were not enjoying that at all.
No, that was
LT's asking another great question or talking, she's got some concerns. Another worry for me is the hydration issue. Drink the thirst. I don't understand that. Coming from a Weight Watchers and having to force 80 ounces down a day. No.
You wash that Weight Watcher crap right out of your mind. I mean, you need to flush your mind and relearn, because that was some seriously bad advice, that whole diet. And let me tell you, I did it 3 times and I lost 80 to 100 pounds 3 different times doing that. And so, believe me, I have experience with Weight Watchers. The thing is about, this water, you drink water, just keep drinking. Go check out that book called Fiber Menace. It actually talks about how when you drink too much water, it can cause you to have constipation, which that was a hard thing for my mind to wrap around. But you should be able to go by your body's signals of, what you need to drink. If you are not thirsty, then why are you going to push yourself? It makes no sense. I don't drink all that much. I'll be honest, I don't. And I have 0 issues. And also the other thing, when you keep drinking, you're going to flush more and more of your electrolytes out. So if you're not replenishing your electrolytes along with all that water you're consuming, you're going to have other issues. So, don't freak out about this whole, you need 12 glasses of water a day, 8-ounce glasses or whatever. No. I just don't freak out about that, honestly. I mean, you need to drink enough to where your body is replenished, yes. And it's specifically when you're exercising and you've lost, water through sweating and stuff like that. That's more important. But I mean, you've even heard where they say you should try not to drink when you eat because it messes with your stomach acid. Have you heard that? And it makes sense, but I physically can't do that because I have that issue with my throat. But yeah, some people say that it dilutes the stomach acid and it like delays your, all this kind of stuff. So, you have that.
I have zero problems in that regard.
Me too. I don't know.
And just what that really, to drink to thirst, it means only drink when you're thirsty. Don't just drink water to drink water.
Exactly.
Drink when you're thirsty. I only drink when I'm thirsty. Now, I drink a lot more water than Amber does because I also am a medical cannabis patient. And THC will dry your mouth out like that. So I drink a lot of water for that purpose.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time. THC is notorious for giving you dry mouth. And I drink huge amounts of water. But I also eat a ton of salt. I supplement magnesium because I'm aware that I could be losing some important electrolytes by doing that. And, you just have to be responsible. It's really important. And that's another great thing about World Carnivore Month is you get to learn and get back in tune with your body's natural signals.
Yes.
Like hunger and thirst, two of the most important things our body can tell us, period. There's nothing really more than that and then when to go to sleep are the three things that our body, the three things.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, three things. And
wow.
to tell us that we absolutely need to pay attention to.
And if you're eating properly and your body's nourished and it can function properly, you shouldn't have an issue with that. I don't anymore. I used to. Boy, did I used to. My signals were all over the place. But not anymore because I'm giving my body what it needs. And so you can trust it again. It's a pretty awesome thing.
Now, one of the things that we both have gotten to do here recently as certified carnivore coaches at Meet RX is we've actually got to do some sessions here lately.
Yes.
And I want to just share with you folks, we're not here trying to sell a bunch of things, but we do want to let you know if you're interested in the carnivore way of eating and or you've started it, you're having problems, you can get a 30-minute coaching session with folks like Amber and I for under $20. And you're not going to find a better deal anywhere. And we'll make sure that you're set up for success.
Absolutely.
And it's been incredibly, I've done 3 sessions in the last 3 days, and it has been insanely rewarding. I feel like I'm finally doing what I was supposed to be doing all along with my time.
And these people, I've got to know some of them, and they are actually wanting to help. It's not about making money, because come on, it's not like, you're making that much money. It's honest people caring, wanting to take it further, to be able to really reach out there and help somebody. Because there are people out there who need that little bit of extra help, that they want the accountability. They want somebody face to face. They want somebody to feel like they care. And we do. We honestly do. And it's very...
Let's put it this way. If Dr. Baker never builds Meet RX,
Me too.
we're still doing the same thing. We're still doing the same thing there that we've been doing all along. It's just we've got a better support system. We are compensated for our time, and I think that's good. Our time's just as worthy as anybody else's. But more importantly, we're there to make sure the client gets what they want, which is a direct, clear path to their own health creation.
Yeah, individual.
Very specific to the individual.
Because we are all so very different.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of situation.
No, it's not.
And one person, the way carnivore works for me specifically, Amber doesn't do it the same way I do. She does it specific. My wife doesn't eat like I do. She eats very different. But she eats a lot of the same things at times, but she also eats a lot of different things. And she doesn't
More
She likes
variety.
mine rare, and I like mine cooked. And
Ooh, no, rare.
I
Okay, we
gotta have
can't
mine
be
cooked.
friends. No.
No, I can't do that. I want to see it cooked. I don't want it burnt. I don't want it dark brown. I don't want a hockey puck on my plate with my bacon. No, I
Man,
just want it cooked.
I want mine to moo a little bit when I poke it. Just a little, though. Just a little.
No, I'm weird. I always like my meat cooked. I always have. So you've had a beautiful experience though with your coaching session. Something that's really
I did.
this is
You're
one
gonna
of the
make me
most
say it, and I'm gonna cry.
one of the most powerful stories I've heard in a while, and I think we would all be blessed if you shared it.
This somebody who did the session with me has been following me for many years and has seen me struggle and lose the weight and gain it back and lose the weight and gain it back. But they were inspired because I kept going and I kept going and I kept going and I kept trying to evolve and learn and do better the next time and etc. Okay. And she said that it was because of me she hasn't gotten the bypass surgery. So, because she says, watching me, that if I can fight so hard, so can she.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
She chose wisely based on the power of your story.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you've heard me constantly say a dozen times every day, you've got to get out and share your stories.
Yes, all of y'all, everybody has something. You don't know who's watching. I had no clue. I had no clue that I had any effect at all. And when you get these stories back, that what you think is not that big of a deal makes all the difference to somebody else. So don't ever think your story is not important. If you're a carnivore and you've had, great results, go on Meet RX and put up your testimony so other people can see that, because you don't know if you're the person that's going to make the difference for somebody else. So share. It's not about, oh, look at me, I'm so great. It's about somebody else might be able to relate to you and make that change. And, if we can all do that, I mean, what a great world it would be, right?
LT's asking, do either of us stick to an eating window? I only eat when I'm hungry. That means I wait until my body says, hey, man, I need some food. And for me, that's really important, because I found out if I'm late with eating, bad things can happen to me.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, I did intermittent fast when I was on keto, and for a year I was OMAD, and it was fantastic. I loved it. It was a game changer for me. But when I moved to carnivore, I found that I was hungrier. I think my body is just, like, ooh, I'm getting all these nutrients, so gimme. So I now have to eat twice a day. I don't technically, intermittent fast because I'm not looking at the clock. But I get hungry right about noon every day. I do not eat breakfast. But at noon, I'm like, whoo, wait a minute now, I'm hungry. So I eat lunch and dinner. But I don't, like, oh, I can't eat because it's not 12 yet. I don't do that anymore. I let my body tell me. But it's just kind of interesting how that works, though, because I am technically fasting, 16, 18 hours or whatever. But.
Well, you're not denying yourself nutrition.
Right.
You're eating
Not
when you're hungry.
No. I eat when I'm hungry, and that's just what it happens to be. You can call it intermittent fasting or whatever you want to call it, but, it doesn't matter.
Again, I can't emphasize this enough. It's always specific to the individual.
Yes.
A lot of people do OMAD, and they're locked in solid. They're happy. It's working perfect for them. They can eat enough calories in one sitting, or not calories, but they can consume enough food in one setting to do the job. And that's great. That's fantastic.
Sometimes that's hard, though, especially like if you're, my size and, with my appetite, I don't think I could technically eat enough that my body needs nutrient-wise in one meal anymore. Now, I have cut back my dinner a lot, because I'm finding I don't need to eat that much. I'm satisfied with a lot smaller amounts, but I don't feel like I'm anywhere near being able to just cut dinner out completely, or lunch, whatever it may be. Yeah, because my body's still going, nope, you need this.
I predict that when I'm done, because I'm still healing too, even 17 months in. I mean, I was messed up like a football bat, guys. I mean, I was not in a good shape when I started. You could go to see my day 10 card picture. You'll get a real good image of how terrifying a place I was in. And that was an improvement over where I was 4 years before that. My point is again, when we only consume human absorbable nutrition, our bodies respond as they were designed.
Yes.
And one of the things that's so awesome about that, and I'm going to step off into, because today's my 22nd wedding anniversary. And I'm married to a carnivore who's 16 months carnivore herself. And I want to take a few minutes to talk about what that's like when you're both on the same hormonal, thank you very much, plane. Everything is so much better. We communicate better. We still have disagreements, but you're not ending the disagreement carrying a grudge. Well, I'll remember that the next time. So all that waste of time over useless bickering, because you're not eat up with brain fog, you're not inflamed, so you're not hurting, you don't have that clouding your thinking and impeding your ability to communicate. And oh my gosh, it has just been insanely beautiful for us. Just insanely awesome. And I'm not even going to get into what it's done for our intimate life, because then I'm just going to sound like a dirty old man. I will say she's almost 61 and I'm 58. I turned 59 in March. But we both feel libido-wise like 20-year-olds.
You went there. Oh, goodness.
I did go there.
Oh, goodness.
I did go there. And yes, I am bragging just a little.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
But it's something I think that doesn't get spoken of enough, because, geez, when you're obese, when you're on all those medications, and that biological human, I love my spouse, need to be intimate becomes a problem. And that's a huge, important part of human health.
Yes.
And when you eliminate, when that's not a part of your everyday life or part of your regular life, that's a deficiency of a physical and emotional nature that we really don't need to go through. And I can say with absolute joy, we don't have any of those kind of problems at our house. And we're extraordinarily blessed.
Now I can sleep better. Okay, thank you for that.
Oh, sleep better. To start with, yeah, you sleep better.
Oh my, yeah, well, yeah, that is true.
But you don't waste time on foolishness.
Yeah, very true.
And we enjoy each other's company. We always did enjoy each other's company, but now, I mean, we do stuff together now. I go to the grocery store with her. We have a blast. Who has fun going to the grocery store? We do. So, if your significant other, if you see them progressing and you're curious, but you're reluctant or you don't want to swallow your pride or whatever, let me just assure you, if you go carnivore with your spouse, you're not going to regret it. You're both going to be blessed in the long run because you did. That's based on real life experience. Carnivore Art Life is my wife's name on Instagram. If you have any doubts about what I'm saying, go ask her. See what she has to say.
Oh, my.
I'm telling you, life is good as a carnivore. And we don't... 521 days, Amber. Do you see any scurvy anywhere?
Yeah, you're kind of riddled with it. Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
And since you've not had any fiber, you're obviously in great agony and
I
pain.
am. I have all kinds of meat rotting in my gut, and I haven't like pooped in like, I don't know, 8 months or something. So yeah, it's awful. It's pretty bad.
And you know, you feel like your blood pressure is like 1,000/500 because your arteries are clogged with fat.
Yeah, and I feel the cholesterol sticking up in my veins too. You know, saturated fat. Yeah.
That's another thing. If you start World Carnivore Month with this, you're going to hear a lot of people are going to get upset with you. They're going to, are you crazy? Just me? Are you insane? Don't you know? Don't you know that you're going to die if you do that? You need to just turn that noise off, because that's all it is noise. It's myth and misinformation. I mean, if this was not a viable way of eating, I would at best be in severe physiological distress, probably in an intensive care unit if I wasn't toes up.
Yeah, even me. I mean, even though I've only done it 10 months now. I mean.
And I just had lab work done recently.
Yeah.
My cholesterol is like, my triglyceride HDL ratio is 2.5. That's like right in the heart of perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much, you know, talk out there, noise, like Brett says, and your people are gonna just be all over you, and you're just gonna have to try to ignore it. And you don't owe anybody any explanation about what you how you live your life. You don't owe anybody that. And honestly, it's very hard to you know, talk to somebody about it who has their mind so set. So live your life, do what you need to do for your own health, and just don't worry about it. I know that's easier said than done. Believe me, I've gone through it. I know. But, you know, you got to do what's best for you. And, you know, you're going to be better for it. They're not. So, you know, once they see how well you're doing, maybe, you know, you can get them to convert. You never know.
You could be the example for them to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what I encourage, you know, because for a lot of people whose spouse or significant other, they're not supportive, or they're not against it, but they're not interested in participating.
Yeah.
And that can be frustrating. It can cause problems. You just have to do what's good for you. You need to take care of your body, see to your nutritional needs. What's on their plates, none of your business. Exactly. And because you're going to get better. They're going to see your skin heal. They're going to see that carnivore glow. I got to tell you, I had the privilege a few months ago of interviewing a lady that lives here locally in Jacksonville. Her name's Ann Odell. And she had the bariatric surgery and had gone keto. She was doing great. Well, she decided about 4 or 5 months ago to go carnivore. And I got to see her at the Planet Fitness where I go the other day. She just popped in. And she's got the glow, her skin. She looks so happy and healing. Oh, it was such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, y'all, I'm serious. Within like a month or whatever, I started noticing a big difference in my skin and my hairdresser and my hair. And look at these nails. Look, these are mine. And I've never had that before. And my skin, I mean, I just barely have any rosacea, kind of like on my nose. I mean, I have makeup on right now, but well, Brett sees me without makeup, so he knows. And my hairdresser can tell exactly, like right about here, from here to here is since I've been on carnivore. And you can tell the drastic difference in my hair from here to here, from here to here.
Your rosacea is healed enormously just in the time I've known it, since you started. I mean, you weren't doing this when we met.
No.
Matter of fact, it was around a year ago this time we started talking about this.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it has.
Crazy. Wow, what a year it's been.
Yeah, roller coaster year, that's for sure. A lot of good stuff.
2019 has been just a year of blessing after blessing after blessing. There's been some
change.
There's been some weirdness and some aggravations along the way, but that's just life.
Yeah.
But as a non-inflamed person, though, the daily battle with life, cars breaking down, stress at work, whatever, it's all just so much more manageable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't hurt. I don't care who you are. If you're in pain, you're not functioning as well. You're not thinking as well. You're not sleeping as well. You don't digest your food as well. You can't communicate as well.
That's true.
Just take the inflammation out and see what happens. World Carnivore Month is worth finding out about.
It really is. So if anybody's on the fence, just give it a go. What have you got to lose? Maybe weight, maybe some issues, maybe some inflammation. I mean, it's a win-win, really. And if you don't like it and you just absolutely can't deal with it, okay.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah. So,
we're not gonna come back to you and say you did it wrong. What's wrong with? Shame on you.
You just weren't doing it right. Yeah.
It's not for everybody. And
yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean,
and
my husband honestly is not. He likes more variety, and yes, there's variety as far as meat goes, but he wants some other stuff also. So he does kind of half in, half out, if you will. He does more keto, I guess you'd say. But that's okay if it works for him. Hey, whatever. For me, this is working great, and with my digestion just issues gone, I don't want to change. I mean, and I don't really care about, variety. Maybe one day I will, but right now I do not care. Don't care. I'm happy with what I have.
Well, I had some variety tonight for my anniversary dinner.
What'd you have?
There was not just ground beef and bacon today. It was filet mignon and bacon.
Ooh.
Yeah, we
I guess I can see that.
And, it was interesting. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it more than I did the T-bone I had for Thanksgiving. But I still thought, my ground beef would have tasted better.
No. Oh, see, I do like my ground beef. No question there. Or my ground elk. That's what I had today was ground elk burger. But filet, last night I had filet.
5 and 10 year carnivores have been saying to me, wait until your taste is refined. Over time, they said you'll be able to taste different things in the meat that you'd never imagined. And for instance, 80-20 ground beef, I can't stand it. I had a patty of that a few weeks ago just because that was what there was. It was convenient. And it wasn't awful, but it wasn't as good. It was just kind of I don't know why. The flavor just wasn't there. With that T-bone. Now, that T-bone was tender. It was like filet on both sides of the bone. It was awesome. But it just didn't taste anything like the ground beef does. Okay. Sarah said, I would never have guessed I would have stayed with it past a month when I started carnivore 11 months ago, but when the pain and inflammation went away, I didn't want to turn back.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I get it.
That's beautiful, Sarah. Yeah, I can't imagine. For me, it's a matter of sanity. So I don't have to worry about, am I going to balloon back up again or I'll become all broken down, but I don't want to be crazy anymore. I like being sane. I told somebody the other day, sanity rocks. When you can trust what you think and, you show signs of maybe having a little bit of decent judgment about it, it's a wonderful change when nothing that you saw was accurate and nothing that came out of your mouth made sense. I really prefer it. I highly recommend it. So if you're having issues, try carnivore just to get the sanity part. My goodness.
For sure.
And what flavor is worth risking your sanity for?
For you, none.
I mean, seriously. And I see people taking chances, people who've lost depression or anxiety problems, and they want to play with fire. I want to see if this is going to hurt me or not. And then there's 6 weeks to 6 months trying to get their symptoms gone again. It just, don't play with fire, my friends. If you start feeling better, accept the gift.
Absolutely. Don't mess with that. Before it gets too late, in case some people are here that are trying to figure out, okay, what can we eat on carnivore? Do we want to just kind of go over that just a little bit, kind of throw it out there? Because a lot of people don't really fully understand it, but kind of like what Sean said, if it flies, it swims, or it walks, you can eat it. And some people can tolerate the dairy, and some people do eat eggs. That's also okay. So that means you can have fish. I mean, you can have sardines, you can have salmon roe, disgusting stuff, but some people like it. And chicken, turkey, but keep in mind that beef and ruminants have a little bit more nutrient this density to it. But you can have deer, elk, bison, wild hog, pork, regular pork. There's just so much variety you can have. Venison. I have a freezer full of venison, elk, and wild hog. So we eat a lot of that, and occasionally I'll buy bison. You can have ground lamb, you can have regular lamb. I mean, there's just so much. And you can, of course, the organ meats. You can have liver, you can have kidneys. That's one thing I have not tried yet. You can even have the brains. I mean, there's just so much. You can make bone broth. I mean, there is a lot of variety. You just kind of, you don't just think hamburger meat, or just only steaks. There's a lot of variety there. So.
That's an excellent point, and there's really not much I can add to that because there is this enormous variety. And people talk, well, don't you get bored just eating meat? Doesn't it get? How do you just eat the same thing? Because I eat the same thing every day. Because that's what I love every bite of that ground beef and bacon. It's like the greatest thing I've ever eaten. It's boring? Are you serious? I'm eating what tastes better to me than anything on planet Earth. What's ever boring about that? Okay, Carnivore says, I dropped one of the 3 hypertension meds on no sugar, no grains. Go Benny Torch. But once I went carnivore, I finally dropped the last 2 meds and another 40 pounds.
That was me. Yay for you. That's awesome. That's the best feeling. Oh my goodness. Getting rid of big pharma. Get on out of here. I don't want nothing to do with them. I don't even want to take, ibuprofen or anything like that. If I absolutely have to, I will, but I try so hard not to. I don't want any of that in my body anymore. No. Nope.
I haven't had a headache since the last week of July of 2018, and I have not had to take any pain aspirins, Tylenols, Motrin of any kind. I've used some lidocaine ointment on my back on occasion because my musculature was in non-existent form after I lost all my weight. But I don't hurt.
Yeah.
I work out hard in the gym. You can see the pictures, but I don't hurt. I mean, I'll normal muscle fatigue, muscle achiness from working out. You want to feel that. That's a sign that, hey, I did what I was supposed to do. But as far as waking up in pain or, oh gosh, my hand, a joint flare, it's all gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah. That's very common. I mean, you hear people saying that all the time. So there's obviously something to that. I have something really cute I want to just say just really quick as far as the eating the same thing every day or whatever. Well, I have a little 10-month-old grandbaby. And her favorite thing, obviously, breast milk, of course. And she loves her meats. And if I don't have my meats ready when she's ready to eat, she will tell me about it. And that girl goes to town. And the other day, I thought she was done, so I went ahead and ate the last bite, and I didn't leave her any. And she was not happy with me, so I had to take some of my mom's meat and feed it to her. So at 10 months old, that baby knows what's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Hopefully that child will grow up to be... She'll just decide at a decent age that this is how she wants to live because she see how her granny thrives on it.
I sure hope so. I don't want to deal with what I did for so long. That was so miserable. I don't wish that on somebody I dislike, much less somebody I love. It's awful. It's just a horrible thing to deal with.
I agree completely. And, you know, she's going to be in a great place because of your influence. Just, oh, I wish my grandmother or one of my grandparents had taught me about carnivory. The misery that would have been avoided. Oh,
I know. That's what I keep thinking of. It's like, oh my goodness, I could have saved 40 years of misery. Seriously.
$1 gazillion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. All the diet products and the programs. And I even did a medical program when I was 16 years old. I mean, you know, you think I haven't been through it? Let me just tell you, I have.
You have, and you've got the pictures to show it.
Oh, I do.
And, yours is one of the most inspiring weight loss stories I've ever seen, because you didn't just lose the weight once or twice. You lost all that weight like 3 or 4 times total. 4 times total.
The last time was on.
And that kills a lot of people. I mean, that puts a lot. That's hard.
It does. Yes. Absolutely. And, you know, that's just the big weight losses. In between all that, I've, you know, lost 40, 50, 20, whatever in between. But those were the big ones where I did it for like a year or whatever and dumped all that weight. But then I would do some other little thing and lose like 20 pounds. And then I'd gain 30 and, you know, whatever. But yeah, 4 big tons, big weight loss. Yeah.
We got 4 minutes left, my dear.
Okay.
You're the hostess with the mostest tonight.
Yeah, it went by fast.
It did go. It always goes by fast. Now, this is going to be uploaded to the KetovoreKast webpage or YouTube channel. And go check it out. It's going to be up there tomorrow at some point in time, because I'm going to put it there unless Instagram gives us a problem with saving this tonight.
Yeah, I better not.
And feel free to share it with anybody you think might benefit, because that's why we do this.
And don't forget, go to meetrx.com and register, whether you've been a long time carnivore or plan to start in January. Go register. It's super easy, I promise, and it's free. So got to be sure we got that. And did we catch everything? I think there's some comments. I can't.
Well, one of them said that your grandbaby's going to be beautiful like the grandma.
Oh, thank you.
Someone said save that comment. I don't really know what that was in reference to, but let's see. I think we've got everybody covered.
Okay, cool.
I don't think we missed anybody. And great questions tonight. Sarah, thank you so much for your questions. Elle, I know you had to leave, but thank you for yours. And we want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Yes,
and
Merry Christmas.
Very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year.
Yes.
We're going to be back after the New Year, I think, as the calendar, way the calendar falls a little weird at the end of this month.
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. Yeah.
And, geez, what a great evening. Amber, it's great seeing you again.
Yeah.
Remember, my friends, no matter what, you've got something to be thankful for.
Yes. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, y'all. Mwah.
Merry Christmas,
Bye.
everyone.